Looking good, everybody. You guys are fantastic. All right. I like it. There's a little bit of glare, but that'll go away as we go on. Now, let's just see. We're taking our paper towels and we're wiping off all the excess clear that we just put on our canvas. We don't want to have all this excess clear that will drip down in the night. We don't want that to happen, right? So first things first, you gotta check in. Tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? Let me know in the comments below. And we'll have to see what we're gonna do tonight. What are we gonna do, Josh? They all wanna know. I have no idea. I was thinking like a mountain waterfall, because we've been painting a lot of ocean scenes recently, so maybe we do a mountainous waterfall, maybe a lake in the front. Who knows? We'll just have to decide by the time I get there. We'll have to make it up as we go and see where we end up. All right. If I can find the color. It's the only one that fell out of the old paint box. Down here into the bottom. Over into the bottom. Okay, we're gonna need this, and then we're gonna need some of our crimson. And I think we'll be ready to go. Maybe we'll do like a bluey, tealy, mountainous waterfall. Should be really cool. So hopefully you're ready to watch that come to life. And if so, tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? And I think we'll be ready to go. So I have my brush that is full of my liquid clear that I initially put the canvas on. You don't need to wash it off because we're going to come back and just cover the canvas in colors anyway, right? Now, if we're going to do some auroras and we whip them down this way or vice versa, whip them this way, we need to put our colors differently, right? So what I mean by that is kind of crisscross our colors. So if we take our dark blue, that Prussian blue color, and we put it in a band, literally a stripe across the canvas, it should be pretty good. We don't necessarily won't be able to see it very well because it's a very dark blue color that looks black when we put it up there, right? Pretty sure that's the blue. Pretty positive. Okay, come in here with another strip. London's back there reading all your comments, so tell us where you're watching from. Just like the old days. What's your favorite sandwich, man? Over here and over there. Big stripe, kind of at a slighter diagonal angle, okay? That way we can roll through with some of our Aurora-y highlights, and it'll be really cool. Put one more little stripe down here, just in case. Just in case we hit it. I don't think we'll go down this low, but just in case. Okay? Just like that, we'll have a little bit of blue. In any case, we need color on our black canvas in case we happen to hit it with white. And then it will actually show up as being colorful, right? Now, if by chance I roll these guys, say we pop them out in here, my first is here, that means I'm going to want something back here, like a little waterfall. Depends on how big we put it down. We push, kind of roll out and turn our brush over that way. Maybe we'll fall down into a little pond or something, maybe a little river that feeds itself off that way. We'll just have to decide. But if you don't put your color there, you're not going to have anything happen when you hit it with your white, which is going to be bad. Right? So up and around our waterfall, go up and around, make a little smiley face underneath, right here. And then a little bit of our blue, a lot of bit of our blue down around the bottom. Now we'll switch to teal, our phthalo green color, right? Very cool, right on the same brush. And basically fill up every other spot that's not filled with blue. And we'll put our teal in there. Now these are transparent colors, meaning that if we're on a black canvas, we should not be able to see them very clearly. They should remain very dark, and it's a little magic trick. If you do this in front of your, and don't do this, if you hide this part in front of your family and you go paint, right? You're like, ooh, guys, watch this. I've got a black canvas here, and then all these colors light up in the night. They're gonna be like, how did you do that? A little bit of my teal into my waterfall as well. And then, just because, let's just put it around the whole rest of the canvas. We'll see. We'll see where it comes when we go to hit it with our white paint. But if nothing's there, we're going to be angry. Right? So let's just have a little canvas covered with our paints everywhere. Really thick, heavily laid down. Right? Go across it, take away our little streaks and such, but you can tell there's a lot of paint on that canvas. Now when we hit it with our white, it's really going to expand into life. It's going to be amazing. So, oh, that's going to be a pretty color. Now, there's many different ways that you can do auroras and different such. I don't have anything to look at while we're doing this because every time we do an aurora painting, somebody grabs it, which is, I'm very thankful for anyway. I need some more white. I've been doing so many murals, you guys, that I'm almost all the way out of white, blue, crimson, purple. I'm definitely out of purple. I need to get some more dioxazine purple. If you guys know anywhere, type it in the comments where you can find that dioxazine purple. Because I need to get some. Mommy, can you shut the door?
Yes.
Okay, over here, over here. Now we've got our canvas covered in color. We're going to take our titanium white paint right here. Oh, okay, don't worry. Take our titanium white and we're going to wiggle it down through the paint, right? Just like that. We don't want to have too much paint on the brush, so we always wipe it off over here. A little bit of craziness, get it off of the brush. That way, you don't have too big of a thing happen, right? Now, let's start on the left and work our way to the right. We'll come down here, get our little bit of paint, and let's launch one in right here from the top, maybe 3 inches down, and just wiggle it. Lots of pressure against the canvas. Bang, lots of pressure, lots of it. You need to have a lot of paint and a lot of pressure. Have that nice crisp line on the bottom. You need enough paint on your brush to do it with, right? Now, no matter what your line looks like, come back in here and dab in just by pushing the brush against the canvas, plopping it, plopping it, plopping it. All we're doing is adding a bit of extra paint that's going to randomly grow when we hit it with our 2-inch brush. Now, take our nice, clean, dry 2-inch brush. Want it to be dry, let me tell you, okay? Come in here and we're gonna kind of match the angle, push against it, and drag up, just like this. Grab it, push it, bang. Extend up into the night. Right? Rolling it, rolling it, rolling it, but going straight up. If it doesn't happen on the first pass, go back for a second. Right? You can push on these guys as long as you want, as far as you want them to go, and get these little come down right in there like that. Fabulous. Oh, very rare. I like that one. Very cool. Now, let's come in with a new section, sort of on top of that. And if we kiss it a little bit, it's okay. Right? Just a little. Let's have a different thing, different angle. Forget about what's on the bottom. Right? You come down through it, whatever. It's fine. Doesn't matter. It's going to help add distance if you do it that way. Take our 2-inch brush again. Sorry. Let's get back in here with our titanium white on our brush. Tap it in over here, over there. Just adding a little bit of extra stuff on the top. That's going to allow our brush to grip it and then rip it as we fly up through the sky. Right? Depending on how much paint you have up there is going to determine how far your paint color drags as we're whipping it up in the night. Right? Way cool, you guys. A couple little things, grab it here and there and wherever, right? Just make sure you're pulling it straight upwards. That's really gonna help you when you go to do yours. You got that nice crisp line, right? And then you add those little extra bits. It always makes it cool, man. Always makes it cool. Let's do one more in here. Again, you gotta kind of cut through little bits of that bottom section anyway of our last guy. It just helps to push them into the night, right? Drag this guy up like this, drag it, drag it, drag it, and you can see there's not as much to grab if you don't add those extra bits, right? So, you get to be the judge on how you want it to look. That's really cool. Come down there like this all the way from the top to the bottom. All the way, top to the bottom. Barely touching the canvas, just grazing it, right? Just a little bit. Cleans up our whole little guy back there. Isn't he fabulous? Oh, I just love it. All the way from the top if you're going to try to make a change or do something, okay? Almost looks like mountains already. Isn't that neat? Very cool, you guys. Now let's take our palette knife and we're gonna rock through here a little of our black, double the crimson, double the blue. So we've got about a 40-40-20 mix into this pile. Okay? And we'll pull it down and mix it up. Then flatten it out, and then scoop it up, flip it over like pancake mix. That's what my pancakes look like, because I always flip them too soon. And the dough like flies out. Ugh, never fun, never fun. Now, let's come in here, flatten out this whole pile of paint, scrape up an enormous amount. You wouldn't want that to fall on your floor, right? Let's come out here and just pow, wherever we want it to be. We want it to get a little higher, maybe not, right? All up to you, how you want your mountains to look. Each time you do it is another opportunity to do it a little differently than the last time. All we're worried about is the top edge of our little mountain, and then everything else underneath gets covered, right? We don't worry about this stuff. It's only about the top edge of that mountain back there. Because anything beyond that top edge, right, we do want to come up and cover some of these auroras over here. And we got a second little peak, bang, whipping it through, dragging it down, zip, just making sure that our top edge of our mountain is the crispiest, the mostest paint that we can get up there, the finest little line, right? It's got to be dark though. It's not dark, we're not gonna like it. We're not gonna have a good time. Come over here and remove the paint off of the canvas now. Scrape up all that excess. So there wasn't too much there, but there was a little. Now we're gonna come in and grab our 1-inch brush, and we're gonna decide what our little mountain chain looks like back there, right? We know these guys are gonna be sloping off this way. So, let's come back here. Let's grab the back side of our mountain, right up along the edge, just start sliding it down. But we don't need to come all the way up here and grab. We only wanna come about halfway. Grab that guy and slide it. Already you can start seeing a couple little themes happening, right? We've got one side of our mountain going this way. Let's take this other edge and let's pull it down that way. And if our paint is sliding in a different direction, right, we know we'll have one side, the back side, making it 3D out to this little ridge right here. Same thing with this guy. You can cut through, pop, push him right through the other mountain chain, right? Knowing that we're going to take his other side and pull him off this way. Now, it might be a little bit difficult to see. We understand that. We get it. Trust. I know. So I'm going to start highlighting that for you right now, okay? So what we'll do is we'll take a little bit of our titanium white, a little bit of our Prussian blue. So those are the only colors we have with our teal so far. And it makes like a sky blue color. Very nice. You want to scrape through all the way to the bottom. Make sure you get that white. You got to get that white out of there, right? Let's imagine all of our light coming in from this side. So we'll kind of attach on with our little suction cup of that roll of paint and just start depositing it, right? We'll scoop it up. We know that when we come up here and touch it, we can feel it get stuck. And then you move with a little bit of quickness, right? You want to have that quick rolling action, very light pressure, and that will help your mountains break into all these cool little things. Remembering that we don't have to cover the entire thing, right? Maybe off the backside of this guy, if he was sloping down through there, right? Drop it off, drop it off, drop it off. You don't want to have a ton of paint on your knife when you go to do it, because it's going to make it more difficult, right? We're not trying to make it more difficult for ourselves. Very cool, very cool. That's it right there. Maybe these guys came and met up. Right? They're like, hey, where you going? I'm going over here. Cool, I'll go over there too. You never know. Back at SKU, you never know where it's going to go, what's going to happen until you go and do it. So get your buns out there and try something fun, okay? Now, with the last little remaining teeny tiny little bit of this paint, that's all we're going to need to make our white shadows, right? Or our white highlights anyway. So mix the white right on top of that teeny tiny amount of blue. We want it to obviously be different, right? So if we need to get a little bit more white, mix it in there, and then let's get a little bit more white, mix it in there. It's all good. We just need it to be bright, but not pure titanium white, right? We don't want the white to be pure white just yet. Now we're going to scrape up this little snowy pile, our white pile. Again, very small amount, because I want to come back in here and hit onto these guys before we start launching in all the crazy breaks and such, right? We just need little things, and you can see we're not even trying to cover everything back there. I don't need every piece to be covered in white. That's not gonna work for us, right? Up into here, very lightly touching, letting the paint that's already there graze against the paint that's on my knife, and that way it will deposit and drop off. Right? The more that we push on it, the more it's going to mush itself in. The less pressure that we're pushing, the more it's going to break. Right? So those little breaky, oh, it looks like a ridge of a dragon. That's way cool. Now let's take the last bit of that snowy stuff. Let's come over here. This will be easier. Attach it, let it flow. Right? Just getting it up there, giving it a little grip and a little pull. We don't need it to be severely pushed on with our pressure, right? Very light little things. Dump it off. Make it a bit much. Scrape it up from up there. Redeposit it. Right? It's the most fun thing about doing these things is what you can do with all these paints. It just becomes fun out there. Okay, a little bit back here. Now I would imagine if there was a little double peaker, maybe we get a little shadow. Take a little bit of our darker stuff and put it right there. But just like that, like literally just like that. How simple was that to make a little mountain just in a few minutes? Didn't do anything, got this crazy depth-filled thing because you guys are awesome. That's why. That's literally why, because you're awesome. There we go. Very cool, right? Not every piece has to be filled. Not everything has to all happen at the same time. Josh K. I love that Josh K watches me, and my name is Josh K, which is really cool. So thank you guys. Remember, if you're watching over on YouTube, to give me a thumbs up. That's all you got to do. Sometimes you have to drop the comment section down in order to give me a thumbs up, and then you can go right back to what you were looking at. Right? Very cool. Very cool, guys. Remember, we don't want to have it pure white back here, so let's not put too much of our titanium white all the way back there, right? Very neat. Now, we have to go back and soften that bit of paint, right? It's very thick, very crazy. If I brushed across it, it would drag and smear the whole thing, right? But if I just get really close, like this, almost to where my fingertips are gonna touch, and just very lightly soften these colors in the opposite direction that we put them down. So if we came down like this, if we had a double-sided tool, it's like this, we came down with our knife, we'd have to go up with our brush. So vice versa on the white side. Go up this way. It's very, very softly. Oh, you don't even want to touch it. I want it to look like I haven't even touched it. That's how soft, right? Same thing from the bottom, almost to the top. You don't have to go all the way up there. And you can leave little bits of your brush and stuff that happens down here. It's totally fine. We're going to come back from that very light pressure to the most extreme smashing. Just boom, 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 right? Really messing it up, making it harder to see. If it's not shown, maybe we get a little touch of that white on there, a small bit. No, we don't want to have too much. There. See that, how it starts showing? We get that little cloud kind of building around our little mountainous area, not making it straight across, kind of letting it roll up this way. Right? You can even roll up into your shadows and tap it back down. Just make sure that you're tapping in the direction that your land is going. So when we come this way, we've got to tap here and tap it down this way. Tap it down this way. Bring all that color out this side. Right? This side will be much brighter because we have all the white snow on this side. Right? So very cool little thing. Toss in our guy. Now it's still very dark. Right? It all depends on you, how bright you want to light up the night. Right? So let's say if you came in here with a little bit of titanium white on our brush, little touch, right? Very small amount. That way I have to push on it with my full brush in order for it to spread out, right? Just need enough for our brush to grip on, and that's literally it. You can even take the 1-inch brush that we created the mountain with. All I did was dab it on a paper towel. Still has all that dirtiness on it. And just mix it. And just lightly kind of pushing up towards our mountain, down and away from the mountain. It's not all going to just be perfect every time, right? So you want to grab a little touch of that and work it down just to help with the brightness or whatever. It's all up to you guys. Now you got this floating little thing out there. The more we push, the more it blends away into just soft color. So we get to decide what it doesn't look like out there. And that's pretty cool. Now, what if though? If we had this whole little thing, we just change up our whole idea. Bang, right? Dropping in a whole bit of light from that side of our mountain. Feeding down a little river-esque way over here. And all have to be the same, so I'm using the smallest amount of paints that we can possibly use. Right? Scrubbing it in real good, just like we would if we were going to make a seascape. It's quite literally the same. Back here, we can always mess it up, right? If we didn't like how it looked, we could always come back in and mix it up into a cloud. Boom. Bang. Love that, though. That is fantastic. It's feeding its way down the mountainside. Very cool. Oh, I like it. Okay. Now, let's just say, because we know we're going to have some trees, and I know my waterfall's here. It goes, falls out right there. So, if we're going to put some trees in here, let's be sparing right here. Be a little bit heavier on that side. We'll drop down, which will give us a lot of room for mist, and then we can hit it with our land. Basically taking up 5 or 6 inches of this big canvas with just mist. You don't have to paint everything all the time. Right? You don't have to do so many details. You don't have to have every single inch of your canvas covered in space. Okay? Now, let's come in here. We have all this bright area that we're now going to project trees up into, that faraway foresty bit. Okay? So, if we're going to do that, and keep them far enough away that they look distant and not up close, we're going to need to get a little bit of our titanium white onto our brush first, and then go into our plaque mix and mix them until it's just darker than that guy, right? Like if it's the same color, probably won't see it. So I'm slowly mixing more and more and more plaque into that light colored pile. And let's come up here and give it a little tester. Can we see? Do you see? Right? It's very bright. I don't want that brightness in my brush. Right? We don't want it to be bright. We need them to stay dark. There we go. Right there. Popping them in. Over here. Over there. Pop them up. Pop them down. Now that little bit of brightness that's in there as well is our white that's underneath from making that cloud. So if you're not washing out your brush, you can get cool effects if you know when they're going to come. Right? You have to have that darkness on there first. And then we can mist them all up. Now, having that white in the brush previously is really going to help make our mist in these guys. Okay, didn't plan it like that. That's just how it happened. Take our 2-inch brush, come back here, over there, flattening these guys up, not dragging so hard that we're brushing through all of our snow or anything. Right? We don't need to do all that. Come in here, same thing, mushing just the corner of the brush. Right? The whole rest of the brush is not on the canvas, it's just the corner. All we're doing is dragging down a little bit of brightness over into the night, right? Starts looking like foggy mist at the base of our little trees back there. Oh, those trees are very bright. They don't look that bright in real life. Let's see if I can go like this and take away those streaks. There we go. Does that make them look darker? They're supposed to be dark, not bright. There we go. That helped. It's just the lighting. It's just the lighting. Very cool, guys. Now, let's just say, ooh, 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 I can see something right in here. Okay. Drop in a little bit of our little guy over there, bang. That's all we need. Tap in around his base, right? Swipe him up, and then for you guys, I gotta swipe it over so you can actually see the dark pieces back there. Now, let's get our brush nice and clean because I want to come in and throw that waterfall in, and we don't want any black on our brush when we're doing the waterfall. We need our pure white paint to intermix with whatever other colors that you put under there. So your blue, your teal, whatever it is. Right? Not a lot of paint on the brush, okay? Let's come over to the edge, go over and then down. How far? And remember, if you're on your table, you're going to come down and hit your table. So move your easel to the edge of your table. Come out here, go over to the side, down. Right? How far does it fall? How much white paint can you get to stick on there from way in the distance? Right? That's pretty cool right there. Don't do it too many times and you get some really neat effects, right? Now, underneath, we have to have a little smiley face of steam or mist or whatever it is, right? Up into your waterfall, okay? It's got like a little mustache now. We'll go back with our 1-inch brush and we'll mustache this guy all out, right? Just making it a little softer is all we're doing. Pushing on the paint harder so it blends in with the darker colors around it, right? Now we can at least tell that we've got this big drop off right here, right? Our land was back here, all this stuff is all misty, foggy action. We'll bristle out of it. All right, and then we're gonna decide how to change it up, where to put our other dark bits, and all the other things as we go. That's what's the most fun about painting a brush. You can change your idea. You can do all sorts of stuff. Anything you want, quite literally, anything. Quite literally. All right, what if we put, have to come in almost too far. So if we can take this guy and stretch him back a little bit. Now we can kind of see where our water is coming from just a little bit. We're gonna go back and cover it, but we want to have this area, right, enough to have your tree poke up into this misty area, covering your waterfall area, and then bouncing off of these bright areas. That's going to be really cool. That'll be our foreground bit over here. We maybe 1 or 2 of them, depending on the size. Throw some bushes in. We can lead this guy this way. We can roll it that way. We can do whatever. We can make it big enough to where it just feeds out and flows towards us. Right? It's all up to us what we want to do. In fact, if we get a little bit of white, if we did this, we can still make it look small if we're out here. And we turn, now we get bigger and bigger and bigger. Right? Now we've got a little river flowing out of that guy just with that amount of space, just by missing, just by not overfilling it. Right? If we're not overfilling it, then we can't do too much. Little bits, little things, little stuff. Looks like a little sidewalk out there. I love it. I love it. Flatten it, flatten it, flatten it, flatten. Right? Then we'll go back in and put some grass and different stuff around it, which will look really cute. Just really cool, guys. If, just in my own brain, if I got a little bit of this black mix, just mixed up in here, just a little touch-a-rooski of it, and I wanted to have some sort of thing where I had a rock, maybe right there, and then dropping off. We don't want to have too much of this rock because we're going to have to cover it with a tree, right? You do too much and then you'll have to go back and cover over it too much. So a little bit of our white, a little bit of our brown, mix that guy up. It's a bit too white. Goodness. Let's take a bit of our black mix in there. There we go. A bit more of our brown. There we go. There it is. That's a cool color right there. Come over the edge of this guy, grab it up, drop it down. Little things. We don't need to have too much color out there. It's nighttime, remember. And we're not trying to cover the entire bit or the entire part of every single thing. It just doesn't have to happen that way. You don't have to do it. If you cover too much, you're not going to like it. Sure, I'm telling you. Okay, let's get out here and let's get a little bit of our sap green now, real quick. It's real quick. I know where it is. It's somewhere in this box. Maybe you don't know where it is. Is it in this box? Oh, there it is. Ah, all the way at the very, very, very bottom. And you can see why, because it's literally full. We need to tap into the new bottle of green. Well, we'll get our sap green out, fold it over, see how much we can squeeze out. Might be enough, actually. That may just be enough, yes. We're going to put it right in between our yellow and our blue. And that is the last of the sap green. Okay. Yes, remember, you can grab this painting if you go to paintwithjosh.com. It's the very first thing you'll see over on my website. Just go check it out. Just to go look, you know what I mean? Just to go have a look-see. That's what it's all about back there in the night. Now, we're going to take a little bit of our Indian yellow, a little bit of our sappy green. We're going to tap these two guys together. Now, the Indian yellow is not as bright as the cadmium yellow, so we won't get a supremely bright green in our grass. if we want to add a bit of brightness, come back with a little touch of white, remembering that we don't need the entire thing to be so supremely bright green, right? If anything, the darker it is, the better. Now, what do we do back here, right? You could do lots of things. Say we had a tree sitting right on the edge of this little cliff. Just wherever. Let it roll out into the night. Oh, that's cool. Right? Maybe off the side of this guy, he started to climb up. So we're just tapping in little bits underneath. We get darker, darker, darker towards the edges. Right? When we come up to the side, we turn the brush, rotate down, dangling down our little bits of grassy wall or whatever that thing is. Now you can literally sit something up here, kind of in midair, just by placing a bit of ground back there, right? A little bit more of our greeny grass. Here we come down, almost all the way up to the edge. Except we're leaving a little dark separation in there. You have to leave that dark color if you want your depth, right? If you don't want your depth, then you're like, oh, I don't care about depth. Then cover it. Go ahead and cover it up, right? But if you want to have some depth underneath your water and in between your grass or your land and your water, you got to leave that little dark area. If you're not leaving the dark area, I don't know what you guys are doing. Look how we just filled up that entire section, pushing everything else backwards into the night. Very small amount of our green on the brush, way back there. There. Right? Now, our bit of white also should be a little closer. There we go. There. All right. Extend our thing out. You can see why it's easier to do this with your water down first before you go and start messing about with your grass, right? Now, let's say if we change that, we put a little bigger guy over here. Maybe we'll get a little bit more of our Indian yellow, a little bit of our sap green onto the paint, Josh. 1-inch brush. This gorgeous brush, a little bit of white. Woo, not too much. Holy moly. Holy shaving cream, you guys. That's a lot. Right now that it's so bright, I gotta come onto the bright side of my grass again because we made it a bit too bright, right? Just a little bit. And as this paint falls off and becomes darker and darker and darker, right? I'm going to save some of that darkness on my brush, or some of that color. Tap it down. And we'll come off of this side. Right? This side's going to be in the shadows. So I'll just tap in a little bit, tap it back, tap it back, tap it back, and back and back and back and back. And now all of a sudden, we got a little bit of grass sitting its butt right down here. You can even take it as far back as you want it to. It'll be very little, very small things back there. And then let them extend to the edge of the canvas over on the side. Arr, to the edges of the canvas, matey. And that way you'll have this bit of depth to it. You know what I mean? Like you could walk around and get back there to the base of the waterfall and do some prospecting back there. Let's get a little bit more of my white, just to brighten it up. Yeah, so we got a little bit of brightness out here. Closer that we are to us, the more we'll be able to see, right? So just tapping in little things backwards. If you don't overdo them, right, you might look like little flowers or such. Little blades of grass in the night. Very close down here. Not on top of the white. You gotta leave that little dark separation. Looking very cute. Woo-hoo-hoo. You guys. I like it. I like it. Very neat. Okay, now let's mix up a whole big bunch of our black color. We can even leave like a little, oh dude, I mean, seriously. Put some darkness over here. Maybe projected like a little bit of a rock or something. Something there. Kind of hold it down. You can make a little cave out of that thing. I'm telling you. If I ain't done told you once, told you 100 times, we can do whatever we want over here. Ooh, I like that. Okay, little hole in there. Okay, let's go back. Since we got the same brown color still, let's use this guy. Deposit those little bits. Okay? Trying to leave some areas of dark and some areas of light. That's all you gotta do. Little things. they'll get darker as they go back towards this side. I need to have so many little bits on there as they go back to the edge. In front, it's got to be bright. As it goes back, darker and darker and darker. Doesn't that look cool?
Yeah. It's like a magical
yeah, it's
fantasy
land. It's the little cave. The little cave back here. This is where all the trolls live. When they want to come troll me, this is where they come from. Here in the cave of trolls. Kind of cool. Okay, now, like I said, we got to mix up a whole big bunch of our plaque mix. So who knows the 3 colors that it takes in order to make Paint with Josh plaque? This really deep, dark, crazy, purplish, blackish color. What does it take in order to make up Paint with Josh plaque? Right? It's a cool little cave over there. I don't care what you guys say. I like it. I like that. I like Sarah's cave. Is there is there someone in here that's being difficult? Yes. Erica says, what? Wow. What'd you say?
I said not anymore.
Oh, not anymore? You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Blur, Blick, and Crimson. You guys already know. Thank you, everybody watching over on Facebook. You guys are amazing. I love you. Thanks for being here. All right. Now, we could pop like 2 little red eyes back in there. Like these. Watching. What's happening? Okay, let's get our big old plaque pile mixed up. Let's wash off our brush so that there is no other color on the brush at all. We want a clean, dry brush. All right, a big old monster. I'm thinking like a big sticky tree right through the whole thing. Living here somewhere. But first things first. This is the first thing that I had saw when I had, or seen when I had painted this guy and noticed what I want to do in that space right there. It's because we got a big old tree right there. Bang, living right on the edge. Living on the edge. I'm in here with a lot of texturous paint. You want lots of it. You want it to be squishy, to stick to the canvas like a plunger would, you know what I mean? A little suction cup. Stick it to the canvas, and then you'll have enough texturous mass out there for our highlights to stick onto. Oh, that's cool. You're just living out there. You're also living out there. What do you clean the brushes with? Cosmic is right. Odorless mineral spirits. And that is like paint thinner. It's not as severe, you know what I mean? It's not as crazily severe as paint thinner. That's cool. I like that tree right there. Now, we're going to need to put one more similar bed right back here along the edge of our rock. Now, we're going to project up into this mist. Right down there. Living back by the waterfall, catching all the mist, and just growing up to be the most gorgeousest thing you ever done did see. Right? At least in its own mind. That's what this tree wants to be. Over here, plopping it. You see why we do the mist? Why you have to have that color back there. You can't go sneak it back in now. You know what I mean? It's forever stuck there. Now, we've done run out of paint on our pile. We're gonna need to mix up some more. So, tell me if you know, type it. If you know, you know. Put it in the comments right now. What are the 3 colors that we use to make up Paint with Josh plaque, the deepest, darkest color in the universe? No matter what planet we're painting on, it is the deepest and darkest color out there. No, not. It's a different spelling. P-L-A-C-K makes Paint with Josh plaque, a very purple black color. It only makes sense. I mean, does that make sense to anybody else? It makes sense to me why we named it that way. Okay, we got our big guy. We got our little bigger guy, because he's almost the same height, but he's much smaller down there, or much lower anyway. Now we need a bigger guy. Oh. You guys. Should we do, we're gonna need to mix up a lot more paint. Should we do the big 2-inch brush trees? You know what I mean? Like the big guys where they've gotta come out, like, and that would literally fill up this whole space, leaving the darkness for our depth and stuff. Should we do that? God, it takes a lot of paint. It really takes a lot of paint when you go make one with a 2-inch brush. But I'm gonna let you guys decide. I'm gonna let you guys decide.
Should we make it with a fan brush, just make it a little bit bigger, or should we do the big old 2-inch brush and just launch out the closest looking tree you've ever seen? Right? One of the two. We gotta do it. Oh, guys, I don't wanna. Oh, everyone's telling me to do the big brush, but I don't wanna do it. All right, fine.
Fine. First things first, let's highlight these little guys. If we're gonna go that route, then let's take a little old fan brush, a little bit of our liquid white. We don't want to have too much, basically, because you don't want to turn it too bright. We're gonna go into our same grassy color with our Indian yellow and our sap green, and all of our light coming from this side. So we're gonna tap onto the edge, get very flat. It's not directly flat like this, right? It's turned a little bit. So the corner, like, imagine your pinky, right? This is your hand right here, okay? So your pinky is gonna hit the thing first. It's not the direct side, it's not flat like this. It's the corner of the brush. Your pinky right here. Just start little taps. Staying on the outside first, so you stay nice and bright. Right, now here, the more we go down, the more you have to tap because the paint is coming off of the brush. And instantly you can start seeing this part of our brush turn dark, which means that if we turn the corner and use the new brush, a new corner of the brush that's untouched, it's going to be much brighter, right? You can turn your brush, you can rotate it, but we don't want to have all of our bright greeny bits overtake the entire thing, right? We just want enough on there to give us a light side and not fully cover all of our dark. Cover all of our darkness, and we've lost the depth, guys. If we lose the depth, then what are we doing out here? Why are we painting? Right? I want to be able to see into the tree, and you can't see into the tree if it's all green. Right? So come back out. See, we're making it slightly brighter, dropping on little brighter, bigger, brighter spaces into places where we think they need to be. Right? We don't want it all to be the same. We get those bright guys to kind of skirt over just a little bit. Right? And all of a sudden, now we're looking at a little evergreen in the night. You guys!
Isn't that cool? Isn't that neat?
Right? All depends on where you put it too. Like down here, these are all going to get mushed away and stuff, but it would never be so bright all the way down at the bottom of the tree. You can get in. Couple little places. All up to us, where we want it to be. Very, very, very cool. Where's that thing? Here we go. Now, the space is down at the bottom. Just tap in. Just kind of seat ourselves right into the grass. Not everything is all lit up. We can't see everything so stinking perfectly, and that's going to be just fine. Right? We can't see every bit of every tree, so don't paint every bit of every tree. That's my one piece of advice to you. Okay. Now, let's go do this other guy, this other dude in the night, and loading up our brush with liquid white, and then the green color, same thing, very light, little taps initially. There's lots of texture out there on this tree, and the more that we smack against that texture, the more it's going to take away all of those little textury bits, right? The more we take them away, the more we're not going to like what's left. Okay? Little things, remember to leave a dark side.
Don't do your whole tree. Remember to have some bit back there on the back side that's not covered. Please. Please. Please.
Okay, now remember, if you like this one, you can go over to paintwithjosh.com and grab it. We popped in just a couple little bits of mossiness hanging over that edge, which you guys know I love to do. Just a little bit brighter here, darker there, just a little taps. Rolling down this way, off the edge, making our land look a little different, right? Not everything out there is going to be exactly the same. Just gonna make it look a little different. I like that. That's very cool. Okay, now, you guys wanted these big old monster tree branches. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Even though I didn't want to do them. It's only because it's just so messy. Okay, here we go. I don't even think I have enough paint mixed up yet. In order to get this guy, we're going to add a little bit of green to our plaque pile as well. That way it'll help our highlights stay kind of brighter, yellowy, greeny, if we have some of that green already in our base color. So, mixing it down, pulling it around. Oh, it's gonna be a lot. That is a tremendous amount of paint right there. Okay, we're gonna take our Paint with Josh 2-inch brush. Come over here and wiggle it down. Oh, goodness, it's almost all gone already. We have to go get more paint out of the old box. Wiggle it down, wiggle it down, wiggle it down. All right, we're basically turning this big 2-inch brush into a very sharp little fan brush. Okay? Now, we need to see them going upwards. Ooh. Like this. God, it's a mess now. Okay, here we go. Gotta have a couple little taps. And a bigger tap. And a bigger tap. There we go. Filling it out, getting out by that watery area. Let's turn our brush over. Bigger taps, covering over those bits of our trees, down into the grassiness, right? Lots of paint. If you don't have enough paint, you won't have enough texture. If you don't have enough texture, then it's just not going to pick up our highlights correctly. Everything gets good. That's a tree and a half right there. Guys, that's a monster. He's a monster of a tree. Remember, trying to use all the paint that we can possibly use. Just to get it down there, and then we'll go back and highlight that guy and see what he looks like, right? So we're gonna wash off this brush because we're gonna use the same thing to highlight our tree. These big old branchies. Man, all of you guys watching over on TikTok, we'll be back to do a second show. Because Cosmic wants a purpley seascape. You guys gotta see the mural on this door, by the way. Can I just spin you guys for just a second? I know I hate moving, but you gotta see that door. Can you shut the door, Lynn? Just so we can see it. It's gorgeous. Look at this. Everybody on Facebook's gonna get the first look. Oh, look at that door. Whew. Just a whole big, like a cosmic-y seascape on that door. I love it. Okay, everybody on YouTube, you're gonna take a spin, right? I hope anyway. This is easy. There we go. Oh, hit my own foot. There we go. Look at that door. Goodness. Goodness. There we go. Come back. Seat. Okay, everybody on TikTok, this one will be easy. There's no other tripods in the way. Look at that door. Just walk through into another galaxy. Isn't that cool? Oh, I love it. Okay, you guys are gonna have to start coming up with a title for this painting as well. If you do grab it during the live show, then you get to name it forever. It becomes yours to name forever, right? If you don't and nobody gets it, then we have to come up with it as a group. So, let me know what you would want to call this big old monster of a painting. I'm gonna get my Indian yellow and my sappy greeny mix onto my brush with the liquid white as well, right? So that when we come down here with these little tippity tappities, we should be able to drop off and leave little bits of our light color, right? Now, if we're not touching it in the correct way, or if our mixture isn't correct, then it will not drop off your highlights, right? So, you gotta get in there with your green, and your yellow, and your bluey. A little bit like that, and then come down in, tapping off a little bit. See how it kind of bends? Pop, pop, pop. Little guys. Not leaving everything, not showing all the bits, right? There's little places, and then you can go back, kind of tap in and let it kind of feed in and fill in those little sections as you see fit. Hey, very cool. Now, you don't want to have it so bright near the center. You want your bright spots out on the edge. So take your center area that should be right on the edge of your canvas and just dab at it a little bit. Very cool. Ah, very neat. Okay, again, towards
towards the center of the tree, which would be the edge of your canvas. Make sure it's nice and dark. You don't need all the light heading over there all the time. Very cool. I like that, you guys. I like that. Let's connect a couple of these. Go. Boom. There. Wherever we want them to be, right? All up to us. Every time that we go to do it, we can do it just a tad differently each time, right? Each time that we go do it. I like the size of it. I like the size of it, right? But I don't think that we have enough texture on this key. And that is literally everything, right? So let's scrape away all these little highlights. Scrape it, scrape it, scrape it. Get rid of them. Boom. Removing all of that. Look at that. Ew. That's foul. That's foul. I need much more texture than we have, meaning much more paint. Right? So let's mix up this whole other chunk. That's a chunk. You need so much paint when you do these 2-inch trees, literally. Right? And I showed you, you can scrape it off, you can redo it. Right, let's do it over here. Let's take this guy, and let's load it up. Use the Bob Ross one this time. Load it up, chunkify. Right, just an enormous bit. Smushing it. This is a very short bristled one because I've used it so much, right? Let's come off of this one. There. There. Right? Let it fall off of our brush and just be thick. Get up here. Go back over the same area. Use the same thing. Dump off this enormous amount of texture. We need it. If you don't have it, you cannot highlight it well enough. Right? Because you need all that stuff up there. Gotta have the chunkiness. Okay. I think we're all chunkified up here, Joshy. Now let's wash off this brush, and we'll go back and highlight it again. We're gonna need to get out some more of our green. Just goes to show you, if you try to push it with something that just isn't right, it just doesn't work. It just won't work for us, right? So, let's see. I found it right off the bat. I didn't even need to look very far. My new set green out. A little squeezy poo over here. Over there. Zip. Fair amount of it out. Back in with our 2-inch. Load it up on the liquid white this time. Let's see how that works. Alright, that's a lot of liquid white. But again, you need all of that, right, to be very wet in order for it to fall off of the brush with the slightest touch, right? Let's get up here. Light little things, right? Working on or thinking about what the branch might look like. Right? Little bits, little bits. You can always go back and connect them. But the more that we tap on, the more we're going to cover everything up. So let's go wipe our brush off. Just an enormous pile. Get some more of our liquid white. Back over into our little greeny bits. Smoosh it up into that thing. I want lots and lots of color and lots of stuff to be able to fall off of this brush. Right, so we're kind of feeding back our little bright section of our tree. Come down here, launch out a new bright spot, feed it back. Maybe a new bright spot, feed it back. Little things, right? We don't have to have it be crazy, but you do have to have the right amount of texturous madness on there. Because if you don't, you can see what can happen, like it did before. Little guys, all the way up to the top, looking really cool. Bye, London. See you later. Looking really cool. Man, I got so much paint in my brush now. Ugh. much prefer that guy right there. I like him. Okay, you guys are gonna have to start coming up with a title for this painting, this gorgeous thing that can be yours if you want it. You just gotta be the first one over there to get it. You gotta find it over there and be the very first person over there to grab it if you want it. And the mods will all tell you how to get here. Very simple. It's basically me.com. That's it. Okay. That brush. This brusharooski. Anytime we do those 2-inch brush trees, God, you get a whole lot of paint up inside that brush. Sometimes they need 2 cleanings. That's how much paint gets up inside there. Woo! Okay. Well, we got like 2 more after these fan brushes to let go, to clean. So you guys come up with a title. What are we going to name this painting? Let me know. Right, we have to come up with a title for it. So no matter what, even if it gets purchased or not, we've got to come up with a title for it. So type it in. What do you think we might call this painting? All right, let me know in the comments below. Over here and over there. Remember, we also have less expensive ones over on paintjars.com as well. But you got to go over there and check out the originals collection. I just did a winter scene today. We got it there for $79, and we taught it to a brand new virtual student today. She did wonderfully. So, if you like a winter scene, we've got that over there. If you want more of a nighttimey, summery scene, we've got that over here. I love this tree now. Isn't that cool? Just the little things you can do. Now, let's get a little bit of our liquid white onto our fan brush, our liner brush, right? Because out there in the wilderness, especially coming out of these little guys, you get little white twigs pop out of these little trees. They're growing all over, coming from here, they're over there, all sprouting from the dark areas of our tree, right? All the little, not all the dark spaces, but they come out of from the dark and into the light, right? Wherever you think they might be coming from. Maybe this guy shoots right up out of there. It gives the tree more depth. Have all these branches, little things are growing out of it, growing through it. Isn't that cool? Out of the darkness springs a branch. Very neat. Okay, let's add in our little family of birds. And then you guys come up with a title for this little painting in here. Maybe we can be real fast. There we go. Little crazy quick flips. We'll have a couple of things holding up those bushes underneath. Oh, I like it. Right. So a little bit of our liquid white. Just because we've got a dark nighttime sky, you know what? Let's put them right in here, flying through a waterfall. Just caca. Ah, I love it. I love it, you guys. That's wicked cool. Wicked cool. We use the big old 2-inch brush trees, which we don't get a lot of practice time doing, and it came out fabulastically. Just if you're asking me. Now, if you get it during the live show, you also get a free gift that comes with it. And quick, little bits. Going up out of that guy, maybe just out of this guy, wherever. Just off in the distance. Right? A little soft little branch. Growing up out of the grass. Wherever it wants to be. That's the best part about them is they don't have to do anything. They don't have to be, whatever. Just tap it right in. Growing up and out, gives you more depth, brings you away from all of this stuff, puts you in front of the river. Very cool. Okay. Yeah. So, come up with a title. What are we gonna name this guy? And just like that. It's your favorite one so far. I appreciate that. It's looking good. Mystical Valley, Aurora Falls. I dig it. Cheeseburger with mushrooms and onions. That's a good check-in right there. That's a good old check-in right there. Troll Cave Valley. You guys are funny. You guys are funny. Okay. I'm gonna clean off this little liner brush. You guys come up with a title. And, like I said, if you like it, go over to paintwithjosh.com, grab it up. If not, that's okay too. That's okay too, guys. Okay, okay. I couldn't see from back here is just a little bit of our grassiness. There. It's always my favorite and most creepiest thing Bob would say, like, there. Whew. Okay. I like that. Alright, what are we going to hit it with for a title? And then we'll go take a little break ski and come back. Man, what a mess. An enormous mess that is. Oh, gross. Ugh. Perfect. What do we got for a title? Type it in. Let me know. Cave of Wonder. I like that. Aurora Falls. Peeping Falls because of the cave. I like it. I like it. I like that mountain coming down in the background too. The Hideaway. Dylan says, Josh, I'm going to buy it, but I don't have a name for it. That's okay, Dylan. If you grab it, there's going to be tons of people out there that will help us come up with a title for it. Quite literally. Quite literally. Thank you, Cosmic, for being over there on YouTube. You're awesome. Squatch Hole Falls. Is that what a squatch hole looks like? Dude, like if I came up to this scene at night and I'm like, I'm not going in there. Something is already there waiting for me to walk in so it can eat me. I'm not going in there. Don't ask me to go in there. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. This one's looking good. Let's just see if Dylan actually does go over and grab it. Then we'll wait on titling it for just a moment. Don't write the name yet. I'm going to go buy it. I want a name. Okay. All right, Dylan. We got you. We'll give you a couple minutes. Couple minutos. Trying to find it. It's on paintwithjosh.com. It's the very first thing. It's called painting number 1752. Right? 1752. That's this one right here. We didn't have a photo of it because we just literally painted it live on the air. Right? So, 1752. The path. Yeah, it's right there on the homepage. The very first thing you see with like a purple and black thumbnail that has two of me on it, like this. That's what you're going to want to get for this guy. Ooh, it's finally warmed up enough in here. It's warmed up enough in here, you guys. Aurora Falls in winter. I like it. Oh, it's so cool. There's lots of depth in this one, too. Those little trees in the background. You got the mountain in the distance. Trees in the foreground. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes! I'm going to finish cleaning off this palette real quick. Keep typing in those titles. Because you never know. If Dylan goes and grabs it, right, then he may be choosing from one of your titles in the comments section. So if you don't type it in there, then you can't be surprised if he doesn't go with your title, because you didn't type it in. So type it in. Let us know. It's green. Ew. Ew. Dalton Trey guy on the TikTok. I haven't seen any of his videos for a long time. Always made me laugh anyway. Ooh, ooh. There we go. That's all he would say too. He'd be like just reacting to stuff, and that's all he would say. 2-3 million followers, something like that. Something crazy like that. Ooh, right. Over the next horizon. Let's see. Oops. Over here, I need to get rid of this. Piles of paint that are kind of interacting with other piles of paint that I don't want them to touch. It's hard being like OCD about clean when you're a painter because your palette is not the cleanest place. Okay, I'm thinking that if Dylan was going to get it, by now we would have had enough time to head over and purchase it. And if not, that's okay. That is okay. We'll still come back. We'll do another show. Oh, I just keep making it worse. I wipe off an area to clean it, and then wipe back over it again, and instantly taint that clean area. And make it worse each time. Just remind me, I gotta go to Michael's tomorrow and get more purple paint. Gotta have more purple. I used up all my purple on these murals. Oh no, that's really gonna hurt. That's really gonna hurt if I don't have purple for the next painting. Really, I think I got enough to do that next painting. Dylan into the night. Dylan says he got it, guys. Hey! Mods, can we confirm? Anybody? I don't have all my devices when we do these Friday night and Monday night shows. I'm using all three, so I don't have anything I can look at and see. Not that I disbelieve, but I trust the moderators. Hey, Dylan, you got it. My man. Over here, watch this. Watch this. Oh. Well, that's the sound of dropping something down the stairs. This is what we want to hear. Hey! Oh, I love that sound. Dylan, my man. So, Dylan, what are we going to title this painting? Let us know. You are in control of what the title shall be. So tell us what you think. Right? What would we call this one? And then we'll put it on the back. Literally, you could say, we had one person say, can you name it Tim? Because I'm going to give it to my dad, and his name's Tim. I was like, absolutely, we can name it Tim. I was like, you want me to write a note to you down on the back too? We could do that. But tell me what you want to call it. You can either come up with your own title, or you can choose from any of the titles that have been put forth in the comments. Or if you want me to choose, I could pick from all the comments. All up to you guys. Blue Winter Mountain, that's a cool one. All right, Hidden Valley Falls, which I also like. So next we're going to be doing basically this door on a canvas is what we're going to do next. Little purple, if I have enough purple. I'm like, no, I told Cosmic I would do her that painting, and if I don't have enough purple, that's going to put a damper on stuff. We can name it Gina, forgive me for spending $300. I will name it that. It was. I will. It was only $279. How dare you? How dare you? Seriously, I'll put that on the back. If you say I'm serious, I will put that on the back, and that will be the title. I will do it. Whatever. We called a painting the other day Supernova Fragilistic Expialidocious, and I had to write it all out, right? So, you know, I'll do it if you want me to do it. All right, Blue Valley Falls is what we're going to go with. I feel you. I feel you. Okay. Yeah. This one, though, one of a kind, my guy. Fresh canvas. Brand new spanking painting that you got just by tuning in to TikTok tonight. I love you. Come over here like that. Over here. This one is number 1752, the year that Columbus sailed the ocean blue. What are we calling it again? Blue Valley Falls. Right there, Blue Valley Falls. Like it, love it. Painted on 3/21 of 2024. We're all gonna go to paintwithjosh.com. Because it's the best place ever, man. Isn't it? Dylan thinks it is. Dylan! My guy, Dylan. Dylan, my man over here. Thought it was a good idea to go over there and snag this painting before you guys grabbed it. So thank you, Dylan. I appreciate you. Very much so. We got a wicked neat little painting for you. And once it dries, I'll get it sent out to you. Probably via, it's either going to be by USPS or by FedEx. Those ones are coming in the cheapest nowadays. Dylan, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. What's up, Sandy? Thank you, Air Endo. I think that's how you say that. They said beautiful. Krishia, Cave of Wonder. Excellent. Beautiful. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you guys. I love everybody for being here. Thank you so much. We're going to take like a 49-minute break. Come back on at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Right now it is 6:11 Pacific Standard Time. So we'll be back on at 7, maybe 7:15 if I can't get my crap together. We'll only be coming back on TikTok. So if you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube, the second show will be over on TikTok. And maybe a third one. Maybe. Okay. But until I see you guys again next time, especially you guys over on Facebook and YouTube, we'll hang out on TikTok and say goodbye in a second. But until I see you guys again later, please send in your versions of this painting. I can't wait to see them. Send them into facebook.com/officialpaintwithjosh or instagram.com/paintwithjoshk. I can't wait till I see you guys again next time. Take care. Have a good day and Foliage. Goodness gracious. That came